When I first started YouTube, I loved to make videos exploring the best ways to farm all the different enemies and events in Terraria. With so many new people playing Terraria each year, I'd like to take some time to revisit some of my designs and see if I can improve them for players both old and new. How's it going, crew? This is HappyDays, and today I'm going to show you a step-by-step design on how to make an easy and awesome AFK farm in Terraria. This is a farm you can start setting up from the second you start a new world, and it's useful for earning money and resources right until the end of the game. To get started, the first thing you want to do is find the Cavern layer in your world. You can tell you've reached the Cavern layer when the background wall turns to a darker grey looking stone. I'll show an image on screen now so you know what to look for. The reason we want to set up our farm in the Cavern layer is because some resources will only drop in this layer, like Souls of Light and Night in hard mode. Once you've found the perfect place to set up your farm, the first thing I like to do is mark a little area that will be the center point of the farm with a few blocks and torches. This will be super useful later on when we measure out our farm, but more on that later. Now comes the fun part. Take your explosives of choice and start to blast the surrounding area to pieces. Don't forget to use sticky bombs and dynamite to easily get the areas above you. I'll give you the exact measurements for your farm soon, but at this stage, focus on making the area wider rather than taller. Once you've blasted a huge area out, we're ready to start designing our farm. The first step is to measure 84 blocks to the left and right side from the center area we created earlier. I like to use wooden platforms for this as they're really easy to mine up when you're finished. So you might be thinking, why 84 blocks? Well, if you didn't know, Terraria has some very precise spawning mechanics for how far away mobs can spawn from the player, and if you create your farm to exactly match these numbers, you can maximize the amount of mobs that will spawn in your farm. Once you're finished with that, the next step is to measure 47 blocks up and down from the center of your farm. Again, this is the maximum distance that mobs can spawn above and below your character when you're actually playing the game. Now that we've got everything measured, we need to remove the blocks from the corners of our farm and create an outline. When you've actually finished that, you'll see the farm has turned into a huge rectangle shape that is perfectly designed to spawn tons of mobs. You'll probably notice at this point that there are heaps of mobs spawning below you and bats are flying around everywhere. And if you're happy with a non-AFK version of this farm, you could stop right here and just enjoy actively fighting the enemies. But let's keep going and turn this into an AFK farm. Our next step is a major part in turning this into an AFK farm, and it involves totally filling in all the area underneath the center point. Now you're probably thinking, oh my god Happy, you just told me to blow all that up, what on earth is wrong with you? And I totally get it, but I'll show you an image why this step is so important, and it's the main reason most people's AFK farms don't work properly. Pretend in this image your farm is where the character is standing, and at first it's working really good with mobs all over the place. After a few minutes though, the mobs seem to stop spawning and it can seem like the farm isn't working anymore. What's happening, however, is that the mobs are actually spawning in these little pockets underneath you, and unless they have a teleport ability, they get stuck. And because Terraria has a maximum number of mobs that can spawn on screen, eventually these pockets will fill up and no new mobs can spawn in your AFK farm. So to avoid this happening and to make a true AFK farm, we need to make sure there's no pockets underneath for your mobs to spawn in. A trick I discovered recently while testing some farm designs, which is super effective, is simply to place walls all over the bottom area of the farm. If you didn't know, mobs can't spawn in front of player placed walls, so if you use a material that's easy to get tons of like wood, you can quickly and easily block the bottom half of your farm. With the walls placed down, now we're ready to set up the AFK part of this farm, and it couldn't be simpler. A design I've been using for years now is a simple volcano trap. Use a non-corruptible block like grey bricks and make a base about 40 blocks wide, and then continue to add layers reducing the width each time. Leave about an 8 block wide gap at the top, and then make a pit about 10 blocks deep for the mobs to fall into. Fill in the rest of the trap and add some torches to help light it up so you can see the mobs falling inside. Then pour some lava in the base of the trap where the mobs will fall into. Because we've only placed walls on the bottom half of our farm, we can now add a safety box for your character. Feel free to add some storage for all the loot you'll get, a piggy bank for your money, and anything else you'd like to add. Once you're in hard mode, mimics are going to start spawning around your farm. The tricky thing is though, they won't move until you either go near them or they take damage. So an easy way to get them moving is to wire a single dart trap either side of your farm and hook it up to a timer in your safety box. Be careful if you're using this strategy, however, because in Terraria 1.3 biome mimics were introduced, and these will kill you if you're AFK in your farm. To avoid this, simply use a Contaminator to remove the Halo, Crimson or Corruption from your farm to block them from spawning, or turn off your dart traps and fight them manually in the area underneath your farm. Now obviously we want as many mobs spawning as possible so you can get loot faster, so a secret trick I'm going to show you is to place 80 jungle blocks near your safety box but not in the top half of your farm. You can use jungle grass or lizard blocks depending which stage of the game you're up to. If you didn't know, the jungle biome has roughly a 50% higher spawn rate than the regular underground areas, as well as a higher mob cap, so it's a great way to boost spawns. You'll know it's working when the jungle music starts to play and the background walls change to the jungle theme. And of course, don't forget to include simple things like a water candle and battle potions to further boost spawn rates totally out of control. Now if you watch the video this far, I've got a bonus tip for you, and that's if you easily want to swap biomes without worrying about corrupting your farm, and that's to use my secret biome switch. To build one, simply place 200 stone blocks in a rectangle near your safety box, but at least 5 blocks away from everything else to stop them spreading, and place a nice layer of grey bricks around it to make it look neat. Then use a Contaminator to spray the biome switch with whatever biome solution you want. You can swap between regular, Halo, Crimson and Corruption this way. If you want to include the snow biome, use 300 ice blocks instead of stone, but be aware you will get a mixture of snow biome mobs plus whatever solution you've added. And there you have it, a simple, highly effective AFK mob farm that you can start to build from the second you begin a new world. What sorts of farms would you like to learn about in Terraria next? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video useful, please consider leaving a like, and for more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and smash that bell icon. And here's the most important part as always, you'll stay happy and I'll see you soon. This is Happy Days signing out. See ya!